Trustee Kreis.
Here.
Trustee LaRue.
Here.
Trustee Mosco.
Here.
Mayor Rybak.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Please stand for the pledge, and after the pledge, remain standing for a moment of silence for our veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, if anybody would like to address the board, I will open the floor to public comment. This is your time to be able to address the board. Yes.
Sharon Thomas, 15029 Peeler. We have two things. Is there any way that we could address the potholes that are on Keeler between 149th and 150th? I don't know if it's from the water damage or from the snow, but some of them are getting pretty bad. And also, there's been, with the tracks being closed down here, I think there's been like an increased amount of traffic going down to my neighborhood. I did notice a cop sitting at Terrace Lane the other day monitoring the traffic, but it seems like there's like an increase in traffic. If they could like somehow, I don't know what else you can do about it, but.
I know, the railroad tracks have definitely been a challenge for the village, and the police and all of us are trying to do our best. We keep trying to tell them to go which ways, and they choose to try to go their own ways. So, and I will check with Joe on the pothole replacement,
Yeah,
repairs and stuff.
down Terrace Lane a little bit too. They tore up right by that one street. I don't remember what it is, and they've never fixed that either.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Anyone else? Yes.
Jean Bartecki, 15049 Pulaski. I want to say to Cal, thank you for handling all the traffic and all the craziness with the railroad tracks. You guys have been doing a really good job.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Kathy Cavely. With regard to community rating system, Don's not here. I don't have too much to update since I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, but I know that Joe and Mike Penny and engineer had our community assistance visit with Mike from the IDNR. So I was just wondering, Joe, if you can kind of give us a little rundown on how the meeting went. And you mentioned in your email to me today that the guy from IDNR referenced a couple of properties to keep an eye on. I was wondering if you could shed some light on those. And what
Brian
the issue
Eber.
might be with those. Oh, Brian Eber.
Yeah. No, he just was going through and eyeballing a few things that he had maybe some concerns with. And he put a list together, but he didn't give it to us yet.
Okay.
He's gonna mail us a formal letter and a list. And like I said in the email, it was more of a meet and greet, kind of educate us on what he was here for. You know, this is the first time I've ever had any experience with this, so and as I said, it's more of a building department issue, you know, record keeping, permits, you know, we have to look at things like that. So it's just the early stages. He said he's willing to work with us and get us on board and make sure that we're compliant. So
Okay.
that's where we're at now.
Okay.
And we're just waiting on the letter, and then we'll probably set up another meeting with him.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm Sandy Cortez. Two things. On 149th Street, I just saw my way here, horses up by the stop signs. Is that because impending? Okay,
Yeah.
that's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, getting ready for the flood. If there is.
No, it won't flood if we
There's
do
not.
that. If we do that, it won't flood. If we get everything ready.
Right, that's good though. And the other thing is AMC Security and the little shopping center next door. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it.
Costa Plaza.
Yes.
It's actually
Um,
Cobblestone Corner.
Cobblestone Corner, yeah.
It just changed owners.
They seem to, I mean, the village is doing such a great job, everything is looking really good, we're attracting new business, and they seem to be kind of not looking that great along 147th, so I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, that was,
Go ahead, Joe.
well, AT&T had a project going on over there.
Yeah.
So I've been dealing with them since last week and back and forth with their contractor. I think you saw that they came out and they did a little bit of work in front of that cobblestone.
Yes, yeah.
Threw some lava rock down and they fixed the house down the way, threw some of that netting. I'm still working on them to fix the landscaping at
Okay.
DMC.
Okay.
Kind of a little argument there, but I'm working on it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
one last quick question. On the bills list, there's a invoice for Kesslin Engineering for $6,600 for engineering. What would they be that for?
That is for the design building. We had to have an architectural engineer review the plans, and that is a charge to the customer.
Oh, for which project?
Design build at 147th and Lawndale,
Oh,
the old fair
Oh,
building.
gotcha, okay,
And that'll be reimbursed to the village
Charge back.
through the company.
okay.
Anyone else? Hearing no other further public comment, I'll close the floor to that and move on to, I've been looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda. On the consent agenda for this evening, we have the approval of the board minutes from April 22nd, the executive committee session from April 22nd, the special meeting of May 6th, the executive session of May 13th, and the committee meeting from May 20th. The bill list and the department reports for May 2015 from the building, fire, police, and public works.
Mayor, I don't know if these can be corrected, I don't know, because I've already sent corrections, and all the corrections haven't been made, so they probably still need to be tabled. There are still a couple minor errors in the meeting minutes of April, the board minutes of April 22nd, the special meeting minutes of May 6th, and the committee meeting minutes of May 20th. And I apologize, I was not available, and I just completed reading the new 7 minutes. Trustee Rauner was gracious enough to hand deliver to me.
Okay, so I'd be looking for approval of 2, 4, 6, and 7.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Marshall.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
And motion carries.
Here, do you have the corrections so I can give them?
You know what, I marked them up again. I can make you copies, but you know, actually there's some missing pages. On May 20th, there's a couple missing pages. Okay, didn't you just send me another email?
Just send me another email, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to trustee business. Trustee Kreis.
The first item I have is the approval of the Illinois Green Infrastructure Porous Asphalt bid recommendation that Weaver Blues Consultants have recommended that this be awarded to Gallagher Asphalt in the amount of $51,961.50. But I'd like to make a caveat with that, and I need to talk to the attorney about this. I've been going back and forth with our our Weaver Consultants. 2 weeks ago, I asked them, could they confirm that the Illinois Green Infrastructure Grant funding is still available? And they reached out to Scott Tompkins at the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, who said the money is still available. And if anything changed, he would notify us. However, thankfully, Engineer Koza sent me a letter today that is signed by State Representative Al Riley. And it says here that his office has been notified that recipients of capital funding from the state will be receiving a letter from the governor's office saying all future funding will soon be suspended, and it goes on and on. Programs under DCEO, DNR, and other agencies will be in jeopardy. So I again reached out to our consultants this morning to again reach out to the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. They are trying to get contact to confirm that the Illinois Green Infrastructure funding will not be in jeopardy. I made it perfectly clear that the village cannot afford a $50,000 project without this funding. So is there any way, Attorney Gleason, that we can approve this contingent upon verification that there will be funding from the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, or should we table it?
Well, you can approve the bid amount, you're not approving a contract with them.
Okay.
So, I mean, but you can certainly table accepting the bid until a later date to confirm that you're actually gonna get the revenue from the state. That's what you should do.
I guess the board's pleasure. What do you think we should? We approved the high bridge contract for the rain garden and the native plantings, but again, we haven't done anything. the board approved it, but we haven't executed the contract. So I guess what would be the easiest thing to do?
The other thing I can add, Karen, is I received an email about 5 o'clock this evening from Brooke Dockett about the fire hydrant grant, and was told that Governor Rauner, in an attempt to get the legislators in Springfield to pass the budget, has frozen all grants, is what I was told.
Okay.
She purposely addressed my grant with Senator Harris and said that it's actually a halt order, and that any further funding should not be dispersed or recommended.
Work
to-
proceeded?
Correct.
Okay.
Just to hold everything up. So I was actually going to ask Carl, because the next thing
That was
on
gonna be
our-
my thing too, I
Yes.
saw that we need to table that as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say to be in compliance, because one of the things that they kind of warned us from the state was if we proceed and continue, that they could come back and find us in fault and make us pay back all the grant money that's associated, that we shouldn't have spent. So I would probably feel more comfortable if we just table both the
All
grants
right, well,
until.
then, my first item, I would like to make a motion to table that until we can verify that the funding is available. Because certainly, everybody knows how hard the board has worked on our finances, but we don't have $50,000 for a parking lot.
Oh, second.
Roll call.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next item is Rain Ready Subcommittee update. I don't know where to begin. We have so much going on, and you'll hear about it as I go through some of the grants that we're applying for. But Helen, we got a sign?
Yep. They were outside the front door. Tomorrow we do our professional photo shoot in Rain Ready here. I just found it on the way here outside.
So we're gonna have, and again, it was, I think, just a really interactive meeting. I wanna thank Superintendent Sperry and Engineer Kosa, because we really need their input at these meetings. But just having our steering committee there and their ideas and the opportunities that Center for Neighborhood Technology is uncovering for us is nothing short of amazing, and you'll hear about some of these. So again, a lot of good work. And their Center for Neighborhood Technology, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, Diane Banta from the National Park Service, they're all gonna be at the block party after the parade.
And Intel.
And Intel. Again, wonderful partners. I received a confirmation from Jennifer Burns today from MWRD, and there will be another green barrel raffle. So we gotta make sure they have a table. Complete Streets Grant Application. On Friday, I submitted a Complete Streets Grant application to the Active Transportation Alliance. Huge thanks to Mary DeBacher from Center for Neighborhood Technology, who was really critical in putting this application together. It would be very important, and the way the grant was written, it's just not a complete streets program to make the village more pedestrian friendly. Stormwater management was written into it. So we should hear early July if we are awarded that, and I would think that would probably be, what I said, the $60,000 grant for, if we get it, have to be completed by 2017. There is no match, and when we have if we have a complete streets plan, it opens the door for many, many other funding opportunities. So that's complete streets, and that one's done, it's submitted ahead of time. We have a deadline tomorrow at noon. The local technical assistance application for the 147th Street feasibility study through the Regional Transportation Authority and the CMAP, Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning. The application is done. Again, huge thanks to Center for Neighborhood Technology. Letter of support from Ed Pazel, Executive Director of South Suburban Mayors and Managers. And I reached out to Executive Director David St. Pierre at the Water Reclamation District. He agreed to do a letter of support. I told him I need it tomorrow by 11:30, no later, so that I can send this off. Again, this, if the village is awarded this local technical assistance grant, it's worth about $80,000. We would have a 10% match, $8,000, which I think the village could find $8,000 for a feasibility study, which again, would then, once we have the study, we are more likely to get funded. We are working, and Joe, Superintendent Sperry, is working diligently with us on this. Ash tree replacement through Morton Arboretum, this would be a $15,000 grant. It is due, I don't know, my notes with me, it's due in July, the 15th. We have a lot of work to do, but it's things that we probably should have in our ordinances anyway. There is a match, but the match can be an in-kind contribution. Joe and Kristen have to do a lot of data collection, but we're, like I said, 8:30 conference call tomorrow, as long as you're not flooded out tonight. And we're going to start working on that application because we lost a lot of ash trees, and this would be a huge benefit for the village. This is, I'm really excited about this. We submitted, I wrote an open lands grant, and it was to do more work on the Illinois Green Infrastructure Project. And I want to read this letter. It's addressed to me from Open Lands. Dear Karen, on behalf of ComEd and Open Lands, I am pleased to inform you that the ComEd Green Region Program has approved a grant of $10,000, and we got the check, to the Village of Midlothian in support of the Midlothian Village Greenway Project. We have 18 months to use this money. Again, keep your fingers crossed that they're not going to freeze our Illinois Green Infrastructure money, because this will go a long way for additional work on that site. So let's hope that the state continues to fund. We've got all these things ready to start work, and we approved the native planting. But we've got $10,000 for that, but we're going to need a lot more if the state doesn't come through with the money. But I was excited about that. Let's see. And the other big item that the Veterans Committee has been working on is the parade, which steps off at 11 a.m. on Saturday from Grills, and it's up on their sign, and I do have forms, and all the participation forms are coming in, and I want to thank the fire chief. I think you have 9 departments.
Yes.
And I'm getting phone calls constantly, and people are, can we still get in? Absolutely. So come on out. George, thank you. And Sharon, we've got our parade on Saturday morning. And then I believe there will be something at the VFW afterwards if people would like to stop there. And also the luau, celebrating all the work that Flood Midlothian and the Rain Ready Steering Committee have done. So everybody's invited to all of those events, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Ivan.
Thank you, Mayor. Do I do the change order tabling it right after that?
You can if you like.
Want to put a motion forward to table the change order till such time when we get the money.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Yes.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Masko.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I started working with Joe and Kristen too with the ash tree. We started doing research the next day, looking at how many trees we lost. It was roughly about 300 ash trees from the last list that we looked at. I also did a tour of the pumping station and found out how the water works within Midlothian. Now we have 3 pumps, and how we need a tower to make sure that the water does flow when there is no electricity. It was very impressive. And also got into this room that I thought was probably the most dangerous room in Midlothian, because that's where they apply the chlorine, and it's a gas form. So if there was a mistake made by anybody in Public Works when they changed the tanks, it'd be very painful. I want to also talk about the access channel, so I want to thank the mayor for giving me the letter. I have called Comcast. Comcast hasn't replied back yet. I suspect I'll probably have to call them 2 or 3 more times to get a hold of them. I also talked to the owners of Tom's Diner. They want to thank fire department, the health department, and the building department for responding so quickly so they could open on their opening day. So thank you from the owners. We also had the garden walk on Saturday, which pretty much was a success. We gave away a rain barrel to a resident that lived down the street from me. And we also had signed up a bunch of people that live in Midlothian. You could sign up to get access to the rain barrel directly with the Metropolitan Sanitary District. And they were also, you were also able to actually see what the rain barrel looks like. And I was also wanted to kind of ask the board, is it, since we generate money through the beautification committee for the walk and for some other events, generally we just give it to the village and they put it in the general fund. We're wondering if we could put it into a separate fund just for, or can we create a separate fund for the beautification committee so that we could use it then more easily for expenses for other events, like maybe bigger signs for the garden walk, so we can increase the attendance, which would then increase the revenue that we could bring into the village.
You do have a line item in the budget. Beautification does have a line item in the budget. And it's probably, I think, against $1,000. I'd have to look at it again. Anyone, you know?
It might be 2, but I'll look.
But then I think any of that money that could be directed.
I think every committee was.
Every committee has a budget.
Has a budget, I don't have the budget in front of me, but.
I thought you had line items removed a couple of years ago.
No, it should still be there.
So then the money
Technically,
that
the
we
general fund is.
It would go into that general ledger account
Okay.
for beautification.
So then the money that we bring in would come into there as well. So I should be able to ask, who?
Ryan.
Is that Ryan? He would tell me how much money we actually have in the account? Okay. Well, then that solves that problem. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Gillis didn't give me anything for his business. He had an appointment that he wasn't sure he'd be able to make the meeting at all. Trustee LaRue.
Yes, ma'am. We'll go back to the village news, or the
Access channel?
Public access channel. There's been some discussion about people's privacy in the audience. And we're moving towards getting the meetings video and put on this public access channel. What sort of privacy is there with non-elected officials or appointed,
You're talking about what's their expectation of privacy in a public meeting?
Right.
It's very low.
Extremely low, I would think.
Everything. Okay. Wanted to, I guess, we'll go ahead. We discussed last week about approval of the placement of the manifold hose for testing the air packs for the fire department. Didn't seem to be a problem, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve that. It's a $1,300 hose.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Only 2 other things, well, I guess just one more thing. The July village newsletter is about getting ready to go out. I recommend everyone try to sign up for it. You can go to the village website and look for the June newsletter, and it can show you how to sign up for the email-based newsletter. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Under Trustee Kilby's, the Finance Committee met last week and they tweaked the budget a little bit, and I believe that the board, the Finance Committee actually got those today. So he asked me that we hold off on anything to do with the tentative budget until sometime next week, so you guys can review it and get it to, we'll get it to the rest of the board. He was looking for the approval of the March 2015 Treasurer's Report, and I need somebody to make a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And lastly, the appropriation ordinance needs to be filed before the end of July. And so it's got to be published, public notice has got to be given 10 days in advance of the hearing of the appropriation. I believe the Finance Committee is going to be working on the appropriation ordinance, so we can get that ready, so we can get that passed before the end of July. And that's all he had. Trustee Mosco.
Yes, just a few items. I want to, excuse me, reiterate some of the comments that were made regarding the police department and their enforcement of traffic around the railroad tracks and the neighborhoods surrounding during the construction. I think they've been doing a great job. It's not often we get the good comments. I've also gotten a few negative ones too, but the good ones have been really good. So thank you, Chief. Please relay those comments. Two items, not on the agenda, but just FYI discussion items that I'd like to bring up next week to committee, just so the board has them in the back of mind. One is Trustee LaRue is good about reminding the board of the situation with vehicles in the police department and what our plans would be for replacing them. And Chief Hoffman has come up with what I think is a really good plan to replace some command staff vehicles at very minimal cost to the village. So I will share those details with the board this week, so you have them before committee, and I'd like to talk about them next week. And then if there's a vote required, we can do that after that time. And then I believe also all the board members received an email from Chief Hoffman this week regarding the Moose Court and the situation there. So if you have any thoughts about that, I'd appreciate it if you send them to me, but I'd like to have a discussion about that next week as well. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Jeff, engineer business?
Yeah, a few items, Mayor. Just wanted to reiterate Karen's comments on the rain ready meeting. Again, I thought it was a productive meeting, definitely had a good discussion, and especially thank you to Val for the video that we took. Looking forward to getting that to MWRD so we can help confirm their model and make sure what they're working on actually work in the field. So it's definitely helpful. Obviously, Kathy and Joe talked about the CAD meeting, but I thought that was very enlightening. It was good to talk with Brian Eber from IDNR. It definitely seems like he's an advocate for the village and definitely wants us to help move forward towards CRS status. So looking forward to work with him in the future. And finally, I think maybe a couple weeks back I sent to Joe, I think forwarded out to the board, but just gave an update on the STP projects, 144th Street and 149th Street resurfacing projects. I provided Joe with the NFT resolutions for preliminary engineering and a schedule. Just wanted to reiterate that definitely like to get going on that. We have a deadline of October for submittal of pre-final plans to maintain a March IDOT letting that would give us in line to start work basically as soon as construction season opens up in May next year. So that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Otwagner?
I have nothing.
Chief Hoffman?
Yes, Mayor, thanks. Just a couple things I'd like to make people aware of is we've had a few problems lately with solicitors, and I do believe all our solicitors are wearing badges now. So if somebody comes to resident trying to solicit doesn't have a village badge, we should be notified right away. We've caught a few people that have been, involved with some harassment. And just the other thing, we'll reference the traffic problem with Metro. We will try to look at Terrace Lane. We've been focusing, and that'd be my fault. We're on the east side, but I'll make sure we're at that.
For solicitors, where do we call 911 or the village or the
Police
non-emergency?
department, either or, 911 or, it's fine. You can call that if they're, at the house and there's a harassment problem or they won't leave the property or anything in that nature, they could call 911 or the non-emergency number if they don't feel that it's quite an emergency where you need that automatic response. So they can do that. And again, with the traffic problem, I appreciate everything. The residents have been great. Been a little bit of negativity, but we've been writing hundreds of tickets, and we will continue to write hundreds more while this practice is going on, but I gotta say, most of them have been from non-residents. You know, it seems like the village of Midlothian, most people have been compliant with the signs. It's everybody else who wants to create havoc. So, that's all I have.
Okay. Superintendent Sperry?
Do you want me to speak to this? Split cost of Crestwood?
You could do that if you would like.
Yeah, the Village of Crestwood's contractor notified me last week, or actually earlier, last week, that they were gonna do a patch on 143rd Street. We split the road with Crestwood. I had actually approached them last year to see if they would share in the cost of this patch. It's a really bad spot. I think I gave everybody pictures of it. So anyway, he told me, yeah, go ahead, get your contractor. Since we had that conversation, I heard rumor that they were gonna apply for a grant to redo 143rd Street. So I put that on hold, and then they called me this year and said that they want to split the cost, and they have their contractor lined up. I called the head of their public works trustee, building department, they got a guy that controls everything. He said that they were not able to get that grant, so that's why they're doing the patching. So I'm just asking the village, the board to approve joint costs with that. I conferred with our normal contractor, and he assured me it was a good price, so we could get this done probably in the next couple of days if we can approve this. That's all.
Thank you. Under my business, I would be looking for the approval of the new garbage contract with Republic as directed by the board. I went back to Republic, and they went out with a 3-year contract at a 3.5% increase. So it's across the board every year, only 3.5%, and they are willing to give us a 10-year contract. So I'd be looking for a motion, and this also still includes the big totes for the recycling, or grass clipping recycling, so we don't have to buy brown bags and have them deteriorate all over your garden like mine just did.
And the ones downtown too.
And the downtown cans will be in also. So,
Mayor, there's also something in their contract about they wanted us to change our ordinance to allow an earlier start time.
only to do the business districts, and Joe and I did discuss that with them, and we said that as long as they stayed in just the business, because then they'd have time to, they figured it would be easier to pick the street cans up on 147 without all the traffic.
Right.
So we said we'd allow them to do those.
And if I could just make a comment, they had wanted 6% increase the first year, so with the extended contract, it's only 3.5%, which is, I believe is fair for the residents. 6% is not.
Can I ask a question? If the contract is a 10-year contract, is there any type of cancellation clause in there if we don't feel that they're doing a good job? Or are we stuck with them for 10 years? It seems like an awful long time.
No, we have a 30-day clause we could get out.
Okay.
And if you're looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Masto.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
It's that time of year where I have gone back and I reviewed the executive session minutes for the past 6 months, and my recommendation is to keep them closed, and I'd like a motion to keep the executive session for the past 6 months closed.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Masto.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Motion carried.
I'd also be looking for the prevailing wage resolution. I sent it to you in your packet. This is one thing we do every year in the month of June. This is just basically saying that anybody who works for the Village of Midlothian will pay prevailing wage. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Masto.
Aye.
Motion carried.
The last item I have on my business this evening is Joe's recommendation that we split the cost with Crestwood to repair the street area near 143rd and Colon for half the price.
What is the cost?
The exact cost.
$4,462.
4,462.
4,462.
44,000?
No.
4,000.
Oh.
$4,462.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I got a question. Joe, is it just, it's just the intersection?
It's
It
actually,
looked like it was down,
no, it's actually just a hair west of the intersection.
all right, so it's half a block. It looked quite a bit damaged.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actual linear footage, I would say it's 60, 75 feet. I mean, we'll look through the road, we think
Right.
half of it.
Okay.
Okay. Roll call.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Maskell.
Aye.
Trustee Kreis.
Aye.
Trustee LaRue.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Clerk's business?
I have a couple of things. First one is a letter from Weish, the Andrew Weish Foundation, Weish Forever. I'll read you the first, pretty much the first paragraph of it. I'm writing to request your assistance and approval to advertise our big charity event, Weish Fest, on public property under city Midlothian jurisdiction. We simply place items such as lawn signs, banners, posters as a way to spread the word about the event and cause. Having your permission and support means the world to us and greatly helps our charity raise the awareness we need to help the beneficiaries of this foundation and event. Thank you all for all you have done and continue to do to help the Andrew Weishar Foundation and Weish Fest. I know we have shared the story with you the past couple of years. However, there was below some information. So they're asking for permission to place signs on public ways within Midlothian to advertise this. The other thing that I have is a block party request for Heather Schaefer, 14324 Keating, for August the 15th, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. for 143rd and Keating Avenue, with the street to be closed. It's a family barbecue, kids games, water balloon toss, music. Would like the fire department to attend. Both the police, public works, I've gotten a response back with no problem. So. And that's all I have.
Okay. With nothing else to come before the board this evening at 7:37, I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.